Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. My apologies for the delay. Spent the last 10 minutes just trying to live stream. Uh, there are more issues here than there are. I should rename the shop Newsweek. That's how many issues there are with technical stuff here. So it's rough, man. Everything is set up, everything works fine. Computer works, phone works, everything works great. I go to live stream and it's like connecting. It just keeps saying that. So it's a big struggle to get this going. I have hotspots that I use. I have all this other stuff that I try and use to make sure it goes. And still, there's problems every single time. So, but we power through them and we conquer, all the technical stuff, and we kick ass with all the other fun car stuff. So what I wanted to do was, since we have a whole bunch of new subscribers and a whole bunch of new people watching, I wanted to go through some of the race cars that I own and some of the ones that I race and some of the ones I don't race and some of the ones I did race. Um, but I wanted to go through some of the cars and do kind of a however deep of a dive you guys want to go on these. And if you ask questions, I'm happy to answer them. I pretty much know these cars inside and out, upside down, left to right, all of that. And so if you guys have questions, I can probably answer that. Um, we're going to start off with the current full blast race car. That is this guy. This is my 2005 Dodge Neon SRT-4. This is a factory built car. They only made two of these. They made this one, which is John Fernandez's old car. He was the guy who headed up the SRT-4 racing team for Dodge. And then the other car they built was for Toby Grahovic, which was, I believe it was his first year turning pro. And this car was the red, white, and black theme. Toby's car was silver, white, and black theme with the Mopar, and this one had the ram head graphics on it. I've been trying for years to get the original graphics. It's very difficult to get. So I'm going to keep going though. I'd love to turn it back to the original John Fernandez graphics. So a little history on the car. This was John Fernandez was a Chrysler executive, and he wanted to get into racing. He was a big racer, and he was also a big guy. He was like 6'4" and like this huge push broom mustache, and he was this very intimidating big guy. Super nice, really, really great driver. Definitely pushed this car very, very hard. So he got together with a bunch of other Chrysler guys, and they put together the SRT-4 racing team, and they raced in SCCA Pro. And they raced for a few years. And what was really cool was SCCA allowed turbochargers back, and that's where this car came into play. So they went around and they it's funny, my friend Ralph Shields calls this one of the cheater cars. Now, there's the saying, if you're not cheating, you're not really racing. This car has a whole bunch of stuff, and I find it all the time too. I still find it even when I'm doing stuff on it that is, I don't know how cheaty it is, but it's definitely skirting around the rules. So I'll go through some of it just really quick. Like, the guys had access to the factory, so they have access to the windshields and all the glass in the car. So they went to the place that manufactures their glass, and they weighed all these different windshields and rear glass and side glass, and they weighed it, and they took the lightest ones. And yeah, it's a few grams, maybe an ounce or two, half of an ounce, whatever. But they have access to do that, so they can save a little bit of weight. Every little tiny bit of weight counts. So that's one of the there's a myriad of things in here, and you find it all over the place. Like the sway bar up front is gigantic. It's like a Red Bull can thick. The factory one was obviously, it was closer to a chopstick. It was really thin. But what they did was they got this I believe it was from Hotchkiss. They got it, and they sprayed it with acid to make it look like it was used, like it was the original sway bar that was on there. So yeah, and they got away with that. The other thing, and I'll show you guys this. Well, when we pop the hood, I'll show you guys there. If you look down where the intercooler is, on top of the intercooler, there's a part number. And if you look up that part number, it says intercooler for SRT-4. And you're like, oh, okay, that's legit. What they don't tell you is the original intercooler for the SRT-4s was a 7-row. The one on this car is a 14-row. So it looks factory, but it really isn't. It's a much bigger intercooler. It's twice the size of the original. So there's little things like that. The mirrors on the ACRs, all the factory ACRs, were power and folding. And these are your super basic mirrors with a little joystick toggle. These are much lighter weight. They don't have the wiring for the power stuff. All of that wiring got taken out. The other thing, all the ACRs came with an electric sunroof, and these don't have sunroofs because these were bodies in white. These were taken off the assembly line before. Like, I think this car originally was slated to be blue, and so they go to the assembly line once the car is done with rust protection, and they paint it in this primer white. They pull that body and the doors and all the body parts. They pull it off the line, and that becomes a race car. And that's what happened with this. So it didn't have any interior. It didn't have anything in it. It was literally just the body panels and a white car. Didn't have an engine, didn't have anything else. So that's how this car started life. That's why it doesn't have the sunroof in it. That's why it doesn't have a whole bunch of stuff. Another fun fact, since they have access to the factory, they took one of the wiring harnesses and they took out all of the unnecessary wiring, all the stuff they were not going to use. So the rear speakers, all that wiring's gone. The sides, all the stereo stuff is gone from the harness. The dome light, that's gone from the harness. The door buzzer warning stuff, when your doors open, beep, that's gone. All of the stuff that wasn't necessary for the car, they took out. 6 pounds of wire. Now, you don't think about 6 pounds as being a lot, right? It's a lot in a race car. 6 pounds is a huge deal. Go tell an F1 guy that we just lightened your car by 6 pounds. And he'll be like, oh my God, that's so great. Thank you so much. Why am I bleeding? I haven't, anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to bleed. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on this car. And you are kind of allowed to do that stuff. There's things in the rule book that says you can do sort of certain things. You're supposed to have a rear. Your rear glass has to be OEM, and I do have the original rear glass. We have since put in, when we raced it in a different series, we have Lexan now in the back, and I have temporary Lexan ones for transport that go in the side. But this is still the OEM glass, and the rear glass is also OEM. Let's see what. Oh, hey, Liz. Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of other stuff. I changed out the radio setup. When I started racing this, it hadn't been raced. It had been stored for like 4 years. This guy named Stan had started. Why am I bleeding? Hang on. Sorry, I don't know what the hell's going on here. I don't know what happened. Anyway, this guy Stan had it and upgraded the brakes, upgraded the suspension. He was trying to keep it competitive while he owned it, and then he sold it to another guy. Stan had a few of the SRT-4s. He had one factory built, and then there's 2 other companies, 3 Hour Racing in Colorado and Sky Technologies outside of Detroit. They once these cars were successful in SCCA, people were asking for them, and Dodge wasn't going to build them for anyone outside of Dodge. So they offered the build sheets to those 2 companies, 3 Hour Racing and Sky Technologies, and those guys did a great job on building those cars. They're very, very close to these, very, very, very close. And for SRT-4 fans, the since it's next to impossible to get, well, you're obviously not getting mine, but it's next to impossible to get the other ones. The 3Rs and the Sky Technology ones are very coveted, and Stan had a couple of those. He's a big Mopar guy. He put on the StopTech brakes. He did KWs all the way around, and did some other upgrades to the car, and it was still competitive in T2 in SCCA. But he sold the car to a gentleman in Pennsylvania who didn't race it for like 3 years. And the guy decided finally he was going to go BMW and put it up for sale. And that's when I picked it up. And I was, uh, I wanted to race in the Nara series, and wasn't really a spot for this car in the Nara series. So we raced in the Whelen series. And the very first race with this car that I did with my co-driver, Nolan Feathers, who's a fantastic driver, by the way. Um, Nolan and I raced very first time. It was still stage 2, still all factory stuff except for the suspension brakes. And we raced. It turned out to be the very last race in the Whelen series, which was cool. It was fine, but um, I'll I'll save that story for another time. We'll talk about racing on full slicks in the snow and how much fun that was. Anyway, at the last Whelen race, we took second in TT, and we had a great time. There was a Mustang out there that had a little more power than we did, and um, so we realized that we had to upgrade the car from stage 2 to stage 3. When I brought it into the shop, I got more of the history on the car. I learned more about John Fernandez. I got in contact with his son, whose name is John Fernandez. And uh, uh, he told his dad that the car's back on track, and his dad was super jazzed. And I'm really excited. And John Fernandez Senior, if you're watching this, you're welcome to take this for a hot lap. I know you would love doing that. So yeah, just shoot me a message and we'll get you out on track. But our last race was at pit race in the Whelen series, and that was a ton of fun. We needed more power if we're going to stay competitive. If we're going to hang with the 351 and the Boss 302 Mustangs and the C5 Corvettes, with the LS3s that are 600 horsepower, we need to step it up. So I looked all over in Canada. I found a stage 3 kit, a full stage 3 kit with turbo toys, the whole thing, all the wiring harness, manifold, turbo, everything. Picked that up, and my friend Jeff Mullins and I spent about a month, maybe a month and a half. Took the entire engine out, did a whole bunch of powder coating and Cerakoting and cleaning, and installed the stage 3 kit. And the stage 3 changed this into an entirely different vehicle. We are now 355 horsepower to the wheels up front. We are 390 foot-pounds of torque to the wheels up front. It is ridiculous. Yeah, the engine's close to 400 horsepower, and it's over 400 torque. This engine was absolutely built. But of course, the guy who built it, his name's Jeff Roselli. It's fantastic. He did all the tuning on it. He was great. I was fortunate enough. Total unicorn moment when I needed the ECU changed over to stage 3. I had a friend who knew a guy who was friends with Jeff Roselli, and FedExed him the ECU, and Jeff was kind enough to put that on. And I still owe Jeff Roselli dinner for that. So if you're watching this, Jeff, I owe you, man. And I'm still bleeding. The hell? I'm not a hemophiliac. What the hell's going on? I don't even know where this came from. So that was really cool. Turned this car into just a whole other vehicle. We were having fun before at Mid-Ohio and at pit race. Nolan and I were having a blast. Nolan was coming from a Miata. I was coming from the Viper to this. I was racing the Viper in the Nara series, and then I came to this, and you have to make that mental switch in your head. Front wheel drive, swing the ass around. Don't try and aim the ass around, or sorry, aim the ass around. Don't try and swing the ass around. So there's that mental switch you have to make in your head when it comes to front wheel drive cars. If you get into trouble, step on the gas. You're going to pull yourself out of trouble. Whereas in a rear wheel drive car, you get in trouble, lift, and you can maintain usually. So it's a mental switch, and it took a little while to get used to. But Nolan and I had an absolute blast in this car. Our first race, we went out. It was March. It was early March. We were at VIR, and we went and raced with NASA, with the Mid Atlantic folks, who were awesome. They were they were absolutely great, except for one guy in an E36, but those are BMW guys. You can expect that. But we had a great time down there. It was super cold, but we learned a ton about the car, especially the power. The extra power was amazing. And we already had great brakes. We knew that. We had great suspension. So having that extra power to be able to pass people and be able to, hold longer on straights, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Don't get me wrong, we got our asses passed a bunch of times. There were much more powerful cars there, but this car was now a contender, and instead of being at the bottom of our class, we could be closer to the top. And at that race, we got second, which was great. We had a really fantastic time. Met a ton of cool people. Saw a ton of killer cars. I saw a guy with a Datsun 510. Uh, it was, I believe, it was a coupe. And that was the total win. Everyone wanted to see this car. This car was so badass. Like the staff from the track came over and checked it out. This thing was so badass. The guy was paddock next to us. Didn't have a ton of money, and he was like half babysitting his daughters while he was out on track, which was pretty cool. He goes out and he's like, "Stay in the truck." Okay, parent of the year, right? But he had a blast, and his car was super cool. Uh, Totally old school, but I mean, it ran. It was like it was like a fart in an elevator. It was awesome. So that guy had a great time, and we had a great time. And now the car was competitive. We did a few other races with this car, and then Nolan got his own race car. He had an Acura, and he's racing in NASA in ST6, and he went on to win a national championship. So I think I'm pretty good at picking drivers. Not bad, right? Um, so yeah, this car is now a little bit more competitive than it was when it was stage two. Stage three really, really brought it to the forefront. Now I don't know what to do. We're gonna have to get better tires. This car runs on full slicks. I don't know if you can tell. They're Toyo full slicks. They're great tires. We have no complaints on those. But you get into different weather conditions. That's the downside. And since this car changed hands so many times, it originally had a bunch of spares. So you had a bunch of extra wheels, transmissions, stuff like that. None of that came with the car that I bought. So I only have this one set of wheels. And so I have to change tires out on the wheels if I want to do that. But it's okay. Most of the time, we're racing in very nice conditions, although a couple of times it's been stupid cold. But that's what you get for being above I-70, right? So I'm going to grab the camera. I'm going to pop the hood for you guys. I'll tilt down here and get my dumbass out of the shot. You can see it. A lot of these graphics are original. The SRT-4 graphic on the front air dam is original. The toe sticker I added, we needed that, and I added the angry guys just because I like that angry little car. And what else? A lot of this stuff came with it. The Carbotech, I ran Carbotech pads already, so I just left the Carbotech on there. The World Challenge, this car was racing in TC in World Challenge for a year. That's our sticker from the USCT Championship, the Wheeling. And then these are some fake sponsors I put on there for fun. It is all original paint. So the white, the red, and the black at the back are all original paint. The hood, front bumper, the sun visor excuse me, I replaced the other one was kind of torn up. My friend Sam got me some nice vinyl, and I've had this on for a few years. It's a little dusty because it's been up on the rack. Um, the toe strap is the original toe strap. Now that's another thing, kind of cheater car-y. There's no impact bar. There's actually a um, not a cage, but there is a rack here instead of the impact bar. So that's going to save you maybe a pound. But again, that's allowed by rules. So that's part of the safety. So that's allowed. Let me get, where's my hood pop? There he is. There he is. And the hood latch still works. So I'll show you guys the heart of this thing. And it's still warm because I just ran it a little while ago. Still has a hood prop. There's a lot of stuff that's still stock. I mean, this is basically a stock Neon. Just had really good guys build it. So we'll come over here and take a look at the engine and all the fun stuff we did in there. When is the last time you saw a Neon with a stock airbox? This is literally the OEM airbox. You believe that? Yeah, a lot of people are like, hey, I haven't seen that. And usually that's the first thing that Neon guys change out. Here's another fun one for you. There's no hose clamps in here except for these two for this pipe because we removed this to get a lot of stuff that's behind here. All the hose clamps are this. I've talked to you guys about these before. These are power grips from Gates, and these are awesome. These are like super heavy duty heat shrink tubing, and I have them up here too. They grip 360 degrees and they stay gripped. They don't ever get loose, never. So the downside is if you want it off, you have to cut it off. You can't just unscrew it, but they never go loose. So for stuff that you don't want getting loose, radiator hoses, intercooler hoses, Gates power grips is the way to go. This battery, I believe this battery is, the date isn't on here. This is an original Mopar battery. As far as I know, this is the original battery that came with this car. I think it might be 17 or 18 years old. So yeah, he's corroded a little right here, and we're going to have to eventually get him replaced. So we're going to get another Mopar battery. Once I found out the history in this car, I couldn't do, the super 800 horsepower drag car setup. I had to do a nice setup. But just for, if you're looking for oh, look at this, a mud dauber nest. You guys, I guess that was a good spot at one time. If you're looking to see who's stage 3, the easy way to spot it when someone just pops a hood, because it's actually kind of hard to tell unless you look back there and you can identify the TD05 right away. If you're looking real quick, just under the hood, if you see this little blue electrical connector here, this little 6-pin guy, that means stage 3. That means the guy has a stage 3 setup. So that's the quick tell. As you can see, when the car was apart, this is a Mishimoto radiator. This came with the car. I believe Stan put this in when he did the brakes and the suspension stuff. This is the original SRT-4. This is the 2.4 liter. And originally, like I said, it came with a TD04, which I still have, and I still have the manifold for it. When we upgraded to stage 3, it includes the manifold and the turbo, and it came with this AGP gate. I prefer this actuator versus the Mopar one. The Mopar one fails pretty hard. And it looks like I'm missing a fire suppression nozzle. I don't know where he went. I have to get another one. That's what this is. I don't know where. He might be in the car, actually. Anyway, this is the only non-Mopar engine part on here is the AGP wastegate. So we're I like running that. It's the Mopar one was not as reliable, and that's why I'm okay with the AGP. Everything else though is Mopar on here. And when we had it all apart, this got powder coated. We had the exhaust and the intake Cerakoted. This is a ceramic coating, the silver, and just did touch up paint on the cover. And I just found out tonight back here, the cam sensor, I have a little pinhole leak, oil leak. So I'm going to redo the valve cover gasket on this. Probably not on this trip, but on the next trip, I'm going to order one and redo the valve cover gasket. It's one of those things, just a maintenance item. It's not a uh, it's not a major deal breaker by any stretch. Oh, what else do we have in here? The other thing we have in here that's not in the regular SRT-4s is we have a big power kill. So there's a couple of large cables in here that will kill power. That's the only other thing in the engine bay. There's a lot of stuff you can tell has been deleted. The washer bottle area over here is all empty. um, there's stuff that, you're not going to use. All the AC stuff is blocked off. You can sort of see the stuff blocked off in the back area back there. It's hot here, so I don't want to put my hand there. So the AC lines, there's still coolant. The fan, okay, yeah, sure. It looks like the fan works, but it really doesn't. The transmission is still the 510, and it has an ACT 6-puck clutch, which is very violent and it's very chattery, but on the track, it's fantastic. It allows for really great shifts, and it's never let me down. The ACT clutch has been really nice. I decided on a 6-puck versus the 4-puck. I liked everything that AC offered. I liked what people had said about the ACT, and that's why I went with that. The Mopar one is actually fine. The Mopar Performance one, it does work okay, but it's a full disc, and it only has 4 springs, whereas the ACT is a 6-puck with 6 springs. So it was kind of one of those. You couldn't go wrong with either one, and I'm glad I went with the ACT. It's been very durable. Nolan and I have been very hard on this car. This will make you laugh. This car only has 15,000 miles on it. I'm not kidding. But those are 15,000 hard miles. Hard miles. What else on this car? A lot of guys have complained about hub bearings, but I've not had any issues with the hub bearings on this car. Considering how hard we hammer it, it's surprising. But hub bearings have been great. There's been no instances of any wobble or any smoke or anything like that. The engine mount got painted, and I also have, you can kind of see them here. These are the Delrin inserts for the original rubber mounts, and I also have them for the other engine mounts. It solidifies the rubber. It makes it a much stiffer mount and sends power down a lot better. We still have power steering on this car. What else? Regular coolant. There's a full titanium exhaust. They did not joke around. It is a 3-inch. It is beautiful, and yeah, that's really nice. There's no, I don't. That's not even close to OEM. Custom made clamps that actually they use a 3-millimeter bolt to clamp them together. That's how precise they were. Yeah. So that exhaust is fantastic. No OEM muffler. There's a single resonator on it. That is it. And the resonator basically acts as a spark arrestor, just so you don't send sparks out the back. Oh, that's about it. We run 1 step down in engine oil and 1 weight down, 1 viscosity up, and that gives us, I don't know if it gives us any horsepower, but it gives us a lot more protection. Never had any problems with heat or oiling issues in this car ever, ever. I should probably swap out the coolant. That'd probably be a good idea. It's been a couple of years. The belt is a Gates Kevlar timing belt. Again, I'm a big fan of Gates stuff. They don't pay me jack, but I like Gates stuff. It's always worked for me. I have it in the Miata, have it in the MR6 engine. Gates stuff is good. So that's about it. Still has the washer nozzles here. Obviously, they're not hooked up. This can come out if we really wanted to, but some of that stuff had to be left in for SCCA. So we just kind of some of the stuff I left in. It's not really hurting anything, and it's not going to be the difference between P1 and P2. So that's under the hood. So let me back you guys up a little bit here. If I can. Whoa, come back here. And we'll put the hood down. I'm going to see if I can bring you guys around to the driver's side. We can take a look inside the car. Hang on, I gotta move some extension cord here. See, we're going to take a look inside the car. I'm steering you guys from the back. And I don't have a lot of room because I have the lift in the way. It wasn't smart of me, but it's barely going to fit here. Okay, so I'll grab the camera. You guys should be able to see, maybe. So we have the Viper Comp Coupe race seat from Racetech, which is really cool. It's out of certification, but Racetech said they would recertify it for me, which is really nice of them. And they'd put the Viper logo back in there. So these are the same seats that go in the Viper Comp Coupe. And do I have enough room here? Yeah. I have a passenger seat in here because I do instructing in this car. So I have a passenger seat with the 5-point harness, and that's a lot of fun. There's also the arm net here. He's got some cobwebs on him. I'm gonna get that off. And then we have the dash. And I'm gonna try and go as far back for you guys as I can. We have our main power kill here, which I had to replace the original one. I don't remember what happened with it, but it was not good. And I had to replace this. You can tell this is a factory job because they did stuff like this, where they just trim the dash a little bit and it goes down. And that roll cage is super tight to the body. That's how you can tell it's a factory job. There's one of our fire suppression things. And then we have our radio up there. Like I said, we upgraded the radio. There's another fire suppression nozzle. And you can also, if you see the roll bar over there, you can see it. It's a super nice install. The steering wheel is obviously removable because we have a race seat. There's no carpet, never had carpet or sound deadening or anything. That's a little rubber piece that goes down there, and that's just a waterproofing thing. And then I'm not sure if it will power up. Oh, yep. That battery, man. So there you go. 15,520 extremely hard miles. Yeah, I'm sure there's a CEL with no juice. We have our boost gauge over there. And here's another fun fact with the car. If you hold throttle, if you stay on the floor, it'll hold boost. It'll hold 22 pounds of boost for your next shift immediately. So you can do a burnout going from second to third, third to fourth. And we've done that a few times on the track. Yeah, it's kind of surprising. Down here, I'm not sure if I can get low enough. There you go. You can see the turbo toys. They're on the bottom row right there underneath the fire suppression. The Alpine Stars thing was in there when I got the car. We still have tilt steering. The lights and turn signals still work. The wipers still work. We do run 100 octane or higher. Usually we run 104, and the car runs great. And this is our steering wheel. Let me at least get it in place. I need both hands to do that clamp. There you go. And you have 2 buttons for the radio and another reminder that you need 100 octane. This is a really, really nice steering wheel. We don't have this radio hooked up. We use a different setup for the radio. But the steering wheel is fantastic. The seat position is really great. I have absolutely no complaints on any of that stuff. That's the original shifter knob, the original parking brake. And again, like all this trim and stuff got removed or never got installed actually. So there was never a console there or anything. Like I said, this was just a body in white. And yeah, I can probably get some cleaning. It's a little bit dusty. And again, the doors have been cut out. I'll show you guys the roll cage. I'll open the door here and you guys can get, let me see if I can do this way. There we go. So we have a full NASCAR roll cage on both sides. You can see it on that side over there too. And it comes into the back of the car as well. And it's a 8-point cage. 1, 2, 4, no, 6-point cage. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 6-point cage. And it's extremely safe. It's actually really nice. And the car still hauls stuff. You can see the supplies and the emergency kit and the car cover all in the back there. So it's not like it's dead weight. Doors still open and close as normal, just with a regular door handle. We still have the regular door handle here. It does not lock anymore. I think there was a time when it did lock, but it doesn't do that anymore. And like I said, the mirrors are your regular, and then inside the door, down in here somewhere, I don't even remember where it's at, is the little joystick for adjusting the mirrors. On that side, we have it taped. We don't have the joystick. You can kind of see the little rolls of tape stuck in there. That's how you do it. So let me bring you guys back. It's kind of precarious over here. And it's going to run over its own cord unless I do this. I'll bring you guys back to try and get a little better shot of the car. Let's keep going back. And we'll keep going back. And we'll keep going back. Keep going back. We'll keep going back. There we go. There we go. So that's it. That's the SRT-4. Oh, of course. Why would it go wide enough or tall enough for me? Now I have to sit on my car. Would I put a Rockstar logo? I think I have a Rockstar. Yep, it's already on there. It's right above the Lion's Den logo. There's another fun fact for you guys. You know, Lion's Den doesn't have any promo material. No baseball hats, no bumper stickers, nothing like that. Isn't that weird? I had to make that bumper sticker. So anyway, this is the car. This one is an absolute blast to drive. It's also a fantastic instructing car because it teaches people who have front wheel drive cars kind of how to max out their front wheel drive cars. So if you guys had the Honda Civics, EK and EG hatches, see a bunch of those ripping around the tracks. This is a great car to instruct in because those guys can see what's possible. Same thing, a lot of the Acuras and stuff like that. For front wheel drive stuff, this is a big bonus to have this at the track. Most of the things you're going to see are going to be front engine rear drive or rear engine or mid engine rear drive. So to have a front wheel drive car that hammers down and can keep up with the big boys, like This thing was keeping up with the CTS-Vs. So that's how badass this little car is. And it is a ton of fun. It is very expensive to fill up. 104 is about 12 bucks a gallon now. So it's about 150 bucks to fill this up with gas. And in one weekend, we'll probably go through 3 tanks of gas. Now, this is the funny thing that everyone laughs about. This is originally designed as a commuter car, right? So you're supposed to get 30, 35 miles to the gallon. This car at the track will get 4 miles to the gallon. No shit. We, we are so heavy on the throttle that we just bomb through gas. We absolutely go through it. And once you get used to that, uh, the computer holding boost with wide open throttle, once you get used to that, you start using it over and over and over again. So now you're up at 7 grand and you're holding it there, going from third to fourth, and you're just doing a burnout. You're just using a ton of gas. So yeah, we're between 3 and 4 miles to the gallon with this when we race it. So it goes through a lot of gas. It's very expensive. Um, Oil changes, we usually do, we'll check the oil level after each event and then we'll check color and all that. Usually we do it every 2 events. We'll change the oil out. Um, the filter gets changed obviously every time we do an oil change, but maintenance on this is not heavy. Tires are big, brake pads are really big. This, I currently run the Carbotech XP20s up front, and I run the Carbotech XP12s in the back. They are the OEM calipers in the back with KW3s. And then we have the StopTech ST40 calipers up front with the XP20 pads on them. The pads are extremely dirty. They're extremely loud until they get hot. And the performance that you get out of them, you don't give a shit how dirty they are. You're so happy that your car is like the whole back end lifts because the back end is very light on this. So when you brake, man, you can feel that back end lift up. And if you have your sway bar set, that back end will just come right around. And yeah, we set up the sway bar depending on the track and our top speed and how many turns or how technical it is. We either crank the sway bar down a little bit or we dial it all the way back where it's just kind of a showpiece. So depending on what we're doing, because what we don't want is the back end, twerking at 150 miles an hour. We'd rather have it be a little stable and lose a little in the slower turns. But if we're at a more technical track like Mid Ohio or a smaller track like Nelson Ledges, we'll basically dial that rear sway bar almost all the way back. And that way, when you come into braking and you get on the power, it's kind of hard to explain. It's like swinging a piece of dough, like I don't know, like Pillsbury dough. You swing it like this, and the dough kind of stops, and then you're going. Um, so yeah, it's a lot of fun in this car, and to experience that when you're coming into a section of turns where it's like 3 S's, like the going up the hill at VIR, or the S's at pit race on the backside, just coming out of the south track. Those S's in this car, once you get that smoothness and you're hanging on, you're maxing out third gear, it feels really good. You have all that boost and everything is going super smooth. And the car, it's kind of it's like a dance move. So you can kind of count it out. You can go and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4. And it's a super smooth move. You gotta practice that. So there's a lot of driving involved in this and getting smooth with it because we're all very used to front engine rear drive. So once you get used to hammering a front wheel drive car, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Doing little tweaks and stuff and making it nice is part of the fun. And Nolan and I got really good at it. Nolan, of course, is faster than me because he's made of rubber and magic, and he doesn't know how much a broken arm costs or how much an intake manifold costs. So that's why he's quicker than me. But we have a great time in this car. We had an absolute blast at pit race and VIR and Mid Ohio. We've had a ton of fun in this. I would love to get Nolan back in this car, and I know he would love to get back in this car. So we'll have to figure something out coming up in the future and get some more laps in this. With doing the Lemons race, this car's kind of fallen to the back burner, and that's why, since I'm up here, I'm going to do a bunch of maintenance on it. I found that valve cover leak, the gasket leak, so I'll get that taken care of. And just keeping these cars maintained it's a full-time job. And when you got 9 cars, you're going through it. Yeah, you trust some people to, I'd let someone work on the Jeep. That's fine, Jeep dealer, or someone work on the Ram, on the tow rig. That would be okay. But for the rest of the stuff, I prefer to do it. I know I'm going to do it right, and that's why it'd be nice to have a crew of 20 guys in here. Jeff Roselli and all of his guys come in and hammer down on the car. Absolutely, I trust those guys with the car, no problem. So, but I don't. Like you guys can see, it's just me. So I do all this stuff, and I like doing it. It's enjoyable, and I love racing it. Um, we're actually not out there. Nolan and I agreed, whatever we win stays with the car. So we have a couple of trophies from events, from our podium finishes. They just stay with the car. They're part of the car file, and that's just part of the deal. We know who got them, you know, and it's important for the car. The car needs love too. So we got more messages here. What are the other messages? Smiles per miles. Yeah, we don't care about MPG. When you're 155 miles an hour on the back straight of VIR, the last thing you're thinking about is maybe if I dialed back a little, I'd get a little better gas mileage. That's so far removed from any kind of thought. You're like, I'm doing $1.50. I hope Savannah Little doesn't pass me again in her badass 370Z, or was it 370, 350Z, whatever it was. She absolutely walked right past us, but she also has twice the horsepower, right? So, okay. Yeah, don't. And it's weird. Ever since I got out of college, probably a few years after college, I stopped worrying about MPG. I still have friends that are hypermilers, and they like track their gas on their daily, on their fun vehicles, and all this stuff. I'm not into that. That's not it. Um, if it's too expensive, I'll sell the car. If it's just way too expensive to maintain and run, I'll sell. I haven't found one yet, but if I had an Aston Martin Valkyrie and it was just me, I probably wouldn't have it for very long, because maintenance on that is going to be incredible. I'm going to go through a shit ton of tires too. I'll tell you that, and brakes and oil. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those. I don't worry about it. I did worry about it when I was in high school and college and trying to be frugal and smart with money. But now um, it's all about having fun with it. And there's a price to pay for having fun. Like I said, that it's about anywhere between $2,500 to $10,000 a weekend to go to the track and race a car, 2 people or 3 people to race a car. So if you're not willing to spend that kind of money and get a $250 set of brake pads in return, then don't do it. But it's a ton of fun. I love it. I have a great time with it. I absolutely love this car. I've spent so much time working on it and getting it perfected and finding out all the cool stuff about it. And people have posted it on Instagram, like Ralph Gilles posted it. I was at a event at Pit Race, and I took this car, and Ralph got there about 20 minutes before I did, and took a picture of it and put it up on Instagram. And I got a whole bunch of messages from people. They're like, Kevin, you got to check Instagram. Ralph just posted your car on Instagram. It was really funny, and we had a great time with it. And Ralph was super psyched to see it. He hadn't seen the car in years, since John Fernandez raced it. So it's cool to see that, and to know that all of your hard work is paying off, and that other people like it. Other executives and guys you track with. To me, Ralph is a guy I track with more than he's head of design for Stellantis. He's a guy I like going to the track with and chasing down more than he's anything else. But anyway, Um, it's nice that people enjoy the car and see it come back out. It's also nice to terrify people. There's one guy out there that's actually terrified of this car. We parked in the paddock and he pulled up and he saw that car and he went and paddocked elsewhere. That's another fun story for you guys. I'll tell you that one. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this with the other race cars. So we'll do it with the MR6. We'll do it with the Monza, the Viper, the Miata. We'll go through all these cars, and we'll just have a little, dive into what the cars are, some of the history on it, what's been done to them, that sort of thing. And because we've got a whole bunch of new people watching, so make sure you guys know what I'm doing and that I'm not just, playing with Matchbox cars and have a kick-ass set of tools, right? So you guys can absolutely know that I'm halfway legit, and some of the time I know what the hell I'm talking about. So thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. Again, I apologize for the technicality stuff. I'm really trying here, but I'm uh, fighting big forces, but I'm getting it done. And I appreciate all the new subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Definitely spread the word. We're going to keep doing more stuff like this. By the way, the MR6 just sat outside idling for an hour, no leaks. Temperature stayed at 180, not moving, stayed at 180, fans were on. And oil pressure stayed, once it reached temp, oil pressure stayed at about between 10 and 12 psi. Oil temp stayed under 90. So very happy with its new oil. We got 7.5 quarts of new oil. I'm trying to remember how much went in there. And it's very happy little car. So we'll do the MR6 next time. We'll get the Monza in here. Now the Monza is new to me. I just bought it a couple months ago. So I don't, I haven't driven it yet, all this other stuff. So I got to take it for a rip, see what that car is all about, and I'll bring it into you guys. But I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. If you do have any questions, please put them down below. Shoot me a message, whatever. You guys know how to get in touch with me. I'm not a recluse by any stretch. And if anybody wants to come by the shop while I'm here in Ohio, you guys are welcome to. Shoot me a message. I'll get you the address. You're welcome to join me on any of the live streaming here or working on any of the cars. I love having company over. So let me know on that. And we'll do another one. I guess we'll do another one tomorrow night. We'll do the MR6 since it's cleaned and has new oil and stuff. And yeah, I think that's about it. Don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it's far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. We will catch you tomorrow night. Have a great night. Look at that thing. Oh, it's so angry. So angry. No angry car.